If you ask early retirees what scares them the most about leaving work before the age of 65, the answer is almost always the same: healthcare. Not the fun side of retirement, not the income planning, not what they'll do with their time. Healthcare. The confusion around it, the cost of it, the uncertainty of what happens in the years before Medicare finally kicks in at age 65. But here's the part most people never hear. Early retirement healthcare is only confusing until you understand one number, one key metric that determines almost everything: your premiums, your subsidies, your plan choices, and ultimately whether those gap years between early retirement and 65 feels stressful or completely manageable. And once you know this one single number, healthcare becomes totally simple, predictable, controllable. You stop guessing, you stop assuming, you finally understand how the system works and how to make it work for you. So if you're planning to retire in your late 50s or early 60s, or you're already in that window, this video is for you. And before we go any further, welcome to the UnRetired, where you're not done, but you're finally doing what you want. This channel helps you rethink retirement, reclaim your time, and build the next chapter of your life with purpose and intention. If that sounds like the kind of retirement that you want, please like this video and subscribe. It helps grow the channel and it supports more content just like this. And a quick disclaimer: this video is for education and general information only. It's not financial advice, because everybody's retirement situation and retirement math is totally different and unique to their own situation. There's no one-size-fits-all answers, so please make sure you run your own numbers. If you can, consult a qualified financial planner. Now, let's set the stage. Healthcare before age 65 is complicated for one simple reason: that you lose the employer plan that shielded you from the real cost of insurance. Most people spent decades paying a few $100s per paycheck without realizing that their employer was covering another $1,000 or more behind the scenes. And when you retire, all of a sudden that hidden subsidy from your employer is gone, it disappears. And suddenly the marketplace feels really expensive, unpredictable, and frankly, totally overwhelming. And that's where this fear comes from. Not just the price, but the uncertainty of it, because as we all know, healthcare and health insurance is always increasing all the time. Early retirees often struggle with these four major variables: premiums that seem to change every year, deductibles and out-of-pocket limits that they didn't expect, income thresholds that feel really confusing, and of course, misinformation from well-meaning advisors who don't specialize in early retirement planning. Now, I say that with emphasis. There's a lot of retirement planning advisors out there, but specifically early retirement planning. All of those uncertainties lead to one core challenge: how do you plan for healthcare when everything feels totally unpredictable? The answer, and the core of today's video, is something that we call modified adjusted gross income, or MAGI. MAGI is important because this number drives almost every decision you'll make about healthcare before 65. Your MAGI determines your ACA subsidies, which determine your monthly premium. It determines which plans you qualify for, and it determines whether your coverage costs $200 a month or $1,400 a month. And it determines whether early retirement feels affordable or totally out of reach and completely stressful. MAGI is the master key to early retirement healthcare. And to see how powerfully this number really is, let's walk through a simple example. Imagine this: you retire at age 63. If you draw income the way most retirees do, selling investments, living on dividends, maybe taking some consulting work, your MAGI might land around $85,000 for the year. In the healthcare marketplace, that could easily result in a premium of $900 to $1,200 a month, depending on your state and the plan you've chosen. Now, imagine the exact same retiree, same age, same health, but they manage their income differently. They limit taxable withdrawals. They draw some spending money from savings instead of selling investments. They spread the gains across 2 calendar years. They intentionally control their modified adjusted gross income, or their MAGI score. Suddenly, that same retiree might pay $200 to $400 a month instead of $1,200. Same person, same healthcare system, same retirement age, but dramatically different cost. All because their MAGI, that one number, shifted. good. Now, let's dig deeper because everybody's early retirement scenario looks totally different, as we said before. First, let's consider scenario A. Someone retires at age 63. They have a strong portfolio income. They sell appreciated assets and they take distributions from traditional retirement accounts. Their MAGI climbs quickly. And the result, high premiums, minimal subsidies, and a healthcare line that frankly becomes one of the largest expenses in their budget. Let's talk about scenario B. It looks almost identical on paper. 63 years old, retired, same portfolio, same lifestyle, but this retiree manages income intentionally. They pull part of their spending money from cash savings. They split withdrawals between taxable and non-taxable accounts. They avoid unnecessary realized gains, and they run their year-end numbers before December instead of after. This retiree might cut their premium costs in half or even more. Once you see these scenarios side by side, the mystery lifts. Healthcare isn't random. It isn't guesswork. It's a direct reflection of how you structure your income or your MAGI. Now, let's walk through the tactical steps that every early retiree should take to control their MAGI number. Step 1, estimate your income in the gap years. Not your net worth, not your total portfolio, your income, and specifically the income that shows up on your tax return. That includes IRA withdrawals, dividends, realized gains, rental income, part-time work, and some forms of Social Security. Step 2, decide where your cash flow is going to come from. Many retirees don't realize they'll have multiple levers: taxable accounts, tax deferred, Roth accounts, and plain cash savings. The sequence you choose helps determine your MAGI. Step 3, find the right plan. Marketplace plans vary widely, but subsidies are entirely MAGI driven. COBRA might make sense for somebody retiring mid-year. A retiree health plan might exist for certain public sector roles, but for most people in early retirement, marketplace plans anchored to MAGI are the foundation of early retirement healthcare. Step 4, budget for deductibles and out-of-pocket costs. Even with a subsidized plan, healthcare still requires planning. Treat deductibles like a predictable line item, not a surprise. Step 5, reassess this plan every year. Plans change, subsidy thresholds change, your income changes. The mistakes most people make is assuming their healthcare plan should just stay the same year after year. That'd be nice, but that's just not the way it works. In reality, early retirement healthcare is an annual decision. Now, before we go deeper, here's your midpoint call to action. I'd love to hear from you. What age are you planning to retire, and what's your biggest healthcare concern? Your comments help other people navigate the same questions and decisions, and I read every one of them and adjust my content accordingly. All right, let's get back into this. Let's talk about why this approach makes healthcare feel easy. Yes, easy. Because when you anchor everything to your MAGI target, the entire retirement picture becomes a lot clearer. Instead of guessing your premium, you can predict it. Instead of worrying about wild swings, you control them. Instead of making emotional decisions, you're making strategic ones. The biggest shift here is psychological. When you define your MAGI target, say 50,000 or 65,000 or whatever number works in your state, you finally see the system for what it is. It's a formula. It's not chaos, not a mystery, it's a formula. And when healthcare becomes predictable, early retirement becomes more feasible. But now let's look at some common mistakes that derail retirees before age 65. First, assuming your employer coverage transition will be smoother and inexpensive. Let me tell you, it almost never is. Group plans mask the real cost of healthcare, and retirement is the moment that cost becomes visible for the first time. Second, ignoring the premium spike between ages 62 and 65. Marketplace premiums tend to rise with age, and retirees who don't budget for the shift could be totally blindsided. Third, drawing too much taxable income early. I've seen retirees lose thousands of dollars of subsidies because they didn't realize a single year of high income could dramatically increase their premiums. Fourth, treating healthcare as a fixed cost instead of a variable cost. In early retirement, healthcare is controllable if you understand the mechanics. It's not a fixed bill, it's a formula that you can influence. All right, as we approach the end here, remember this. Early retirement healthcare is not about memorizing 50 rules. It's about understanding that one single number, your MAGI, your modified adjusted gross income, and building your plan around it. Once that number is clear, everything else becomes manageable. Now, does this make sense? If it does, please like this video and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. It helps support the community and ensures you see future videos on income strategies, tax planning, and retirement decisions that matter, like early retirement healthcare. I'd like to close with this thought. Retirement isn't about having enough savings. It's about removing the fear and the uncertainty that hold people back. When you understand the rules of healthcare, when you understand your MAGI, your modified adjusted gross income target, early retirement becomes a decision, not a gamble. And once healthcare becomes simple, the rest of your retirement plan can finally take shape. And if you want to keep learning, YouTube probably thinks you're going to like these two videos as well.